Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning and welcome to NBC 16 Today. I'm Dane Wormlinger, and we are so excited, and not just because it's Friday. It's the start of the Olympic trials right here in Eugene at Hayward Field, and we're starting this morning off with team coverage for you. Genevieve and I will be at the studio while our very own Olivia Young is at Hayward Field all morning. She's providing updates on what you can expect if you're heading out there today. Olivia, good morning. The sun is up now. How's it looking at the field now that we can actually get a good view of it there?
Good morning, Dane. It's looking great over here. You're right. The sun is up. The birds are chirping. It's shaping up to be a beautiful first day of the Olympic trials. Now, if you're planning to attend today, here are a couple things to keep in mind. The doors open at 10:30 today, and expect to wait in line. You're urged not to drive as parking is going to be a major issue, and instead you can take a shuttle, bike, or walk. Now, because of COVID-19, a lot of things are contactless here today, and that includes tickets. So fans are urged to download the Go Ducks Game Day app. You can just do it at the App Store, and then you can log in with your Ticketmaster username and password. Follow instructions on the app then to get your tickets. And we'll have more tips coming up for if you want to attend any of the trials. Live at Hayward Field, I'm Olivia Young. Back to you, Dane.
All right, Olivia, thanks for that breakdown. We'll catch up with you in just a few minutes, but Genevieve Melzer is joining us again in the Weather Center. Genevieve, nothing to complain about today whatsoever, and we're so excited here at NBC 16 for today.
Yes, we are, Dane, and such a gorgeous morning and beautiful day ahead of us. I think we're very lucky as we take a live shot out at Hayward Field. Things starting to look really beautiful out there today. Lots of sunny skies in our future, 49 degrees here in Eugene, and we're seeing similar temperatures along the I-5 corridor, 47 up in Junction City, 49 in Florence, and 56 already in Roseburg. We are tracking a bit of wind. We've already started to see some gusts over 20 miles per hour along the coast, and we're expecting to see a lot more than that, but expecting to see a good breeze here in Eugene. Visibility is going to be great today along the I-5 corridor. Another great thing to keep in mind as your day does progress, and we're going to warm up nicely. We're going to get up into the 70s by this afternoon, and then we're going to keep going, and I'll tell you how hot we're going to get in my full forecast coming up. Dane?
All right, Genevieve, thanks for that update. Well, in order to allow 8,000 fans into the stadium to enjoy the event at Hayward, coronavirus restrictions are in place. Fans will be separated into sections based off of vaccination. They must wear masks until they're seated. Vaccinated sections will not have to distance or wear a mask. Those unvaccinated sections will be distanced, and they have to keep their mask on unless they're eating or drinking. But as far as it goes for monitoring fans,
there's no provision for needing to keep people separated inside the venue. It really is a matter of ensuring that people with tickets to the vaccinated sections are able to prove their vaccination status, and we'll be using that primarily through the Clear Health Pass system. That will be a way for them to do that in advance so that when they come up to the security screening area, it'll be a very simple process.
Now, aside from that health app that Olivia told us about, each guest will get a temperature check once they come into the stadium. They'll have staff scattered throughout the venue to reinforce those public safety measures. The tourism from the Olympic trials is expected to be a shot in the arm for Lane County, and it's especially needed for the hospitality sector after taking a major hit during the pandemic. NBC 16's Keely McCormick dug into what the hospitality industry is seeing right now.
This has been a big boom for the hospitality industry as well as our community. So it's a twofold. It's great to have our athletes back in.
As vaccination rates increase and COVID cases go down, Eugene's starting to see tourists come to visit Tracktown USA again after a year of hardships. This all comes as the perfect storm to give the hospitality industry a good chance at recovery.
This week, with everything happening in our community, we have been sold out.
The Gordon Hotel just opened up back in February. They slowly saw occupancy levels increasing, but Alan told me in the last few weeks, business is booming, and now they're all booked up for the trials.
Pandemic was definitely a setback for our whole world, but it's been great. It's been a great time to regrowth and regenerate.
Regrowth and recovery on many business owners' minds. I spoke to Brett Rober, the general manager at the Campbell House Inn. He told me their occupancy rates started to pick back up in May, but now this month they'll run about 98% full because of high demand.
Ended up with inventory coming back at a very late moment. we'll sell all our rooms.
A full house, but at lower rates than what they'd usually go for. With the uncertainty of fans and some other factors, Roper lowered the rates. And now he told me they haven't seen numbers this high in 5 years.
We won't quite reach the same heights we did in 2016, but it's still going to be, the second best month out of 120 months that we've been doing this.
That was NBC 16's Keely McCormick reporting. We did also speak to the Eugene Airport, and in the last 3 weeks, they've seen travel numbers at what they were before the pandemic. Oregon, meanwhile, continues to inch closer to that 70% vaccination threshold at which restrictions will be lifted. Oregon reports 68.3% of people over the age of 18 have now received at least one dose of the vaccine. That means about 55,000 people still need to get their first dose to get us to that 70% mark. New information this morning as the country already faces a chlorine shortage. Crews are working to fix a power outage for a major supplier for the West Coast. In the meantime, this could be a problem for several communities. Oregon Emergency Management saying a transmitter blew at Westlake, that's a chemical manufacturer in Longview, Washington. OEM says they supply chlorine for most of the West Coast, and now officials are stressing that Oregon's drinking water is safe. However, there are several cities now that have only about 2 weeks supply of chlorine left. Take a look at your screen. According to the Oregon Health Authority, this is the amount of chlorine that's left for these cities. Corvallis has 18 days left, as Decatur with 16, Ashland 14 days. Junction City there, the lowest at just 7 days. OHA says some of these cities are expecting a chlorine shipment soon, but for now, health officials do recommend normal water conservation.
I think at this point, people can continue to use water as they usually do for drinking, cooking, and bathing. We do have some drought conditions in part of the state that people should really limit their outdoor use of water, watering their lawns, washing their cars, or filling up their swimming pools.
Oregon Emergency Management saying power at the Westlake manufacturing plant should be back on around June 28th or the 29th. OEM is working with the governor's office now and more than 30 other state organizations. Both Eugene Water and Electric Board and Springfield Utility Board sent out statements about this shortage. EWEB saying because of a new system, they stopped using chlorine gas, so customers will unlikely see any impacts.
I am excited very much for the fact that there will be large crowds at Hayward Field. We've worked extraordinarily hard as a local organizing committee to plan for this event, but to actually come out from behind the computer screen, to be able to go into a stadium and be able to create the opportunity for people to experience that Hayward magic for themselves, that's a very energizing way to start every day.
That was Tracktown CEO Michael Riley, who is very eager to see these Olympic trials succeed and for them to really pump up the local community. We're going to head out again to Hayward Field Live, where we're joined by NBC 16's Olivia Young right now. Olivia, let's talk about traffic over the next few days and a warning being pushed out by the Eugene Police Department.
Dane, that's right. Traffic is going to be very busy near the trials today and throughout the trials. Our advice to you is avoid the area if at all possible. Portions of 18th and Agate are closed and traffic control measures are in place. If you don't need to come to the downtown area near the university, the Eugene Police Department is urging you not to. Also, give yourself some extra time when traveling.
For traffic-wise, obviously with more congestion, be patient, and there's a lot of people from outside of the area as well that aren't familiar with Eugene, and there's parts of it that can be kind of confusing, especially if you're not from the area. Have a little grace and be patient with people and understanding that they may not know the area.
Remember, there are changes in the traffic patterns surrounding this area. And with the influx of visitors heading to Hayward Field, we have a warning from the Eugene Police Department. They're supporting the national campaign, If You See Something, Say Something. Whether you parked your car at an LTD lot, rode your bike, or just live in the area, EPD says this is the prime time for criminals to target you.
Don't leave things visible in your car. Make sure it's locked. As far as the bike stuff, you want to make sure your bikes are locked up. Just be extra cautious and careful. And like I said, if you see something suspicious, don't hesitate to call.
EPD will have extra officers on patrol, and there's an increase in security surrounding the stadium. Live at Hayward Field, I'm Olivia Young. Back to you, Dane.
All right, we can't wait to hear more, Olivia. Thank you so much for that update. We'll catch up with you in just a few minutes. A check on your time this morning. It is 6:09, and next on NBC 16 today, we take a closer look at who is more likely to go to the ER after a traffic accident. What one study is showing us on that. Plus, we'll continue to bring you coverage of those Olympic trials throughout today and all of next week.
We're waking up to beautiful conditions and we're tracking the heat. How hot will it get today at Hayward Field? I'll have all the details coming up.